This video, we're going to start on our table. I'm going to break this up into smaller chunks just so you can kind of follow along a bit more easily. So the template for this is a little bit different than what we've done for the vase and the practice ones. So I think I'm in the generic ones here. So instead I want to go up to File and I'm going to say New and Family. And then again, it's English Imperial. And for this, I want furniture. So there's just a generic furniture one there. And you'll see it's got slight differences and some options for us when we're drawing it. So we're going to start that one up. It's going to look pretty much the same. We've got a lot of the same commands up here. One of the things that we're going to be talking about a lot are these green lines called reference lines. What they're doing is they're a lot like, say, like the index or the tape measure tool in SketchUp, where we're going to be using them, again, as our reference for heights and widths and things like that. In this tutorial, what we're going to find is that you can kind of lock them into your furniture, and that's how you can designate different, say, widths and sizes of your table. So for some of you who have downloaded furniture families already, sometimes you're going to have multiple options. That's all controlled here in the family with the reference plane. So by the end of the video, we're going to play with that a little bit more. So at the beginning, it might not be so obvious why we're doing this, but again, it's controlling the math at a very precise level and how they're making this. So the first thing we're going to do is literally just draw the tabletop of this this like the coffee table basically, and it's going to be a rectangle. But first we want to make reference lines. What it'll be basically, I'm going to call them north, south, west, east, kind of like I do in class. Here they are right here, and they're going to be drawn just like these green lines here. So I'm going to put one just across the top here. And again, make sure you're keeping it straight. So I'm left clicking here and then I'm going down and I'm making sure my mouse is kind of locking into that blue dotted line so it's straight. I'm going to do another one over here like that. Is that straight? Yeah, I guess it is. Okay. And then another one here. We're going to kind of clean these up in a little bit too, but you're going to start with that. So that's on the reference level right here. If we go to the front view, so this is going to be the top of our table looking down at it. So the front view now, we're going to go here. And so this is, kind of considered the ground, on the floor. This is now the horizontal axis. This is the vertical axis. You're seeing these side ones here. So this will be our west and east lines that are drawn that we just drew. Now we want to have basically what will be the top of our table and the bottom edge of our table. So again, our table top is going to have a thickness, so it's going to have a top and a bottom to it. So we're going to do a reference line now over in here. So in this case, we go back to create and we need a reference line way over here on the right. So I'm going to do one across the top here, and then I'm going to do another across the top here. And one of the things we want to do first is we're going to name them. So if I click on this, I'm going to so what I did is I zoomed in, and here where it says click on name, I'm just going to left click right there, and I'm going to say bottom of table, and click there. And up here, I want to say top of table, and that's all set. And now the math right here, we can set kind of where we want this to be. And first of all, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to make mine 2 inches thick. So if I click 2 inches here, see how it just jumped down and now these two are 2 inches apart. So this is going to be the rough thickness of my table and where I want it to be in space. So this is just to get us started off. So if you go back over here to reference lines, another thing we want to do is we want to make, so this center point right here, this where this axes meets, the X and Y, well, the like north, south, east, west, that center point will always be the center point of your object. So again, when you import it in and move it around, that's the center. So I want to make sure these sides are equidistant. So one of the things you're going to first use that with controlling that with your dimensions. So we're going to go and annotate. We're going to pick aligned, and I'm going to go, I'm left clicking here. I'm left clicking in the middle one. I'm left clicking over here. And then we're just pulling it up. Oh, we got to left click there and pull it up. I think we got it. Oh, I have to enter. There we go. Oh, no, wait, start again. We're going to annotate, aligned, left click here, left click here, left click here, and then left click over here to the right. Sorry, I forgot that step. And one of the cool things we can do here is, so it's telling me right away, if this is my center, obviously it's a little narrower here on the left than it is on the right. So if I click this equal button, it's going to equal them out for me. So now no matter what, when I go to change the length and the width of this table, this will always be the center. So we'll always have equal math on the left, equal math on the right. So the next thing we need to put in again is up here under File, Annotate, and Aligned. Click on Aligned again, and I'm going to click the overall width of this. What'll be the let's see, yeah, length of the table. So we're going to go up to here. Now, right now, I also want to lock that in, meaning whenever I change this, my table is going to morph back and forth. Now, the next thing I want to do too, though, is I don't necessarily always want an 8 by 10. So I'm going to go up here. So what I did is I clicked on the dimension itself. Up here under label, I'm going to give it a new label. So in my case, I'm going to just write in, let's see, oops, I'm going to click it again. Sorry. We've got to do label this guy. So if we click it here, so what we're doing is creating a parameter, meaning we're creating a definition for how the math of this table works. So I'm going to click that little create parameter. Most of this is all pretty generic. We're going to leave it here for now, but the name in my case, so this is going to be the length of my table. So I'm going to say NLENGTH, yep, and say okay. And now it's going to stay like that as the length, and the math of this will change. We can edit this later. We're going to do now the same for what will be the width in plane of this table. So we're going to say, again, back to Annotate, and we're going to click Aligned, and we're going to click the top one, and then the middle, and then the bottom, and then click off in space. And then I want to equalize it. So if I kind of click on that whole string of dimensions there, I click equal. And if you watch it, this bottom line in my case is going to move up to make sure they're equal. So equal, oh wait, jump down, of course it would. All right, so we got this one is now equal, but now you can see each of these quadrants are equal in size to each other. Now we want to give a parameter to define that this is going to be the width of my table. So now I'm going to go over to Annotate, Aligned. I'm going to click here. I'm going to click here, pull it out here. Then I'm going to click on that dimension itself. So I escaped out just to get out of the string. Left click on that. Now up here under Modify Dimensions, Label Dimension, I'm going to pick this little icon. I don't know, it looks like a square with a sun on it. Click that, create parameter, and we're going to call this one width, WIDTH. And we're going to lock that too. So meaning we kind of want to keep that math to us. And we'll change the numbers of this later on. But right now, here's the shape where I want to put my table in. So now the next part is we go over to Create. And now we're making an extrusion. So this is going to be the tabletop. So we're going to click the rectangle, and we're going to snap it within this rectangular shape I've just made. So I start on the top left. I'm bringing it to the bottom right. I also want to click all these little lock buttons because it means it's going to lock it to these green lines, these reference lines. So I'm going to be able to stretch it however I want later on. And like I said, this is how companies make, you know, all these variations of table sizes and things like that. So we're going to click the OK button. And right now I know it's 1 foot thick. So we're going to edit that in just a minute. So we're going to say OK. Now, if we look at it in 3D, here's my, well, I'm torqued. Hold on, let me spin it a little bit. There, you can see my square there. But what I want to go back into is here, the elevation, the front elevation. So this is my tabletop. It's now sitting down on the ground. So I'm here on front elevation. And this one's pretty easy. I'm just going to use the arrow to pull it up to that reference line there. That is my top of my table. And then I'm going to pull the bottom up to the bottom part, which is the top. I mean, let me say this again. So this is the bottom that's going to now to the line up with the bottom of the table reference line. So we're going to click that into space 2. I think, did we get the other one? Actually, let me do that again so you can see. I'm going to undo it. So this guy we're going to bring up, and we do want to lock it in place. And then this one you bring up, and you're going to lock that one also. And now that means if I want to change the height of my table later on, say to go from, you know, coffee table height to behind the sofa table height, I can stretch the legs up and down. All right, so let me just show you what that's looking like. I'm going to just put in shaded so you can see there's my square there. 3D now, it's sort of floating up here. Show it shaded so you can see too. But again, back to the front elevation. This is now the top of my table. All right, so we're going to pause there. Make sure you have time to catch up to this, and then we'll come back and add in the table legs next.